Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Dallas Mountaineers football. Joining us right now, Stone Mannello. Stone, a big game this weekend against the Lake Lehman Black Knights. Let's talk about what you're looking forward to with the old shoe game.
Well, it's the last time we get to go out there and get a crack at the Knights, and it's always a competitive game between us being so close. And, both teams are always trying to win that shoe, so it should be a good game.
Let's talk about some of the challenges this year for your team. Some injuries, of course, some young guys playing, and tell us a little bit about how you guys try to, stay with the positives there at Dallas area this year.
Well, we did have a couple injuries, a couple key guys go down, but we are very young, but they're not young anymore. I mean, it's week 10 now. Most of the freshmen that are playing have been playing since week 3, so they've grown up quick, and we've every week come closer together as a team, and they've really grown up quick and stepped up for us.
Stone, let's talk a little bit about your role this year. You've worn a few different hats, but one of the things that's been steady is being one of the leaders. Talk about trying to stay positive and be a leader this year, along with some of those seniors who have kind of made it through that injury bug. You have some special guys that you've played with there at Dallas over the years.
Well, yeah, I was flipped around quite a bit this year, but I just want to help the team win, and we're struggling, and I keep getting moved around, but, it's just trying to get the next W, and our leadership, I think, is great, even though our record doesn't show it. We're really a strong team as being together, and we get stronger every week, and we're not going downhill. We're not going to let our record affect how we play on Friday night.
Stone, let's talk about some of the things that you've put into the game of football, and obviously growing up around your dad and seeing what he's put in to the game of football as well. Talk about some life lessons that you learned from your dad and, of course, some other coaches that have been around you over the time.
Well, yeah, growing up with my dad being a coach, it was it's kind of different. You're around the game of football your whole life, and I loved it before I even really knew what it was. And you learn a lot of lessons, and ones right now where, everything's not going the way you want it, but you got to stick together and be a leader. And I feel like us as seniors and me, myself, we've done a pretty good job at leading a team, even though we're not doing quite well. And, growing up like that, I think if I didn't grow up around football, it might be a little different for me. I might not be the leader I am or the player I am today.
I'm sure one of the most positive people in that locker room is your dad. It all starts with leadership, and I'm sure there might be some days you say, how does this guy stay positive? As you mentioned, everybody would like the record to be a little bit better this year at Dallas, but talk about his resiliency and trying to look at the positives.
Well, yeah, Coach is something special. I mean, every day we're all sitting in the locker room after school. He opens up the door, blows the whistle, says something funny, and we all want to be there, even though we're not doing too good. Everyone wants to be there every day, and that starts with him, because if he came in and didn't seem like he wanted to have fun today and have a good practice, nobody would want to be there. And it completely starts with him, and he's one of the most influential people I've ever been around, and he doesn't stop. He's there all day, and he makes us all want to play football even when it's not going.
Stone, let's talk about your future endeavors. You have an area of study if you're thinking about college in 2017 right now?
Yeah, right now I'm looking at I'm not quite sure where I want to go to college, but I'm looking major-wise into criminal justice or accounting. And then after college, I plan to go into the DEA.
Well, sounds like a pretty interesting future for you. How about your mom's influence on you? Let's talk a little bit about what she's all about.
Well, with my dad being a coach for this long, my mom's put up with with a lot of crap, and him being there all the time and not really home. Without my mom in the picture, I don't think he'd be able to do it. she's always there for both of us, even when it's not going good. And, now that my dad's not around the house as much anymore, she still wants the best for both of us in my senior year. And he's coaching again now and happier than ever no matter what. So it's love my mom, and she's always there for us.
One of the things you got going for you is some great genetics. You got two people in the family that work out an awful lot, and they love fitness. Talk about how that rubs off on you, or maybe some ways you're like, listen, I'm going to take a break. Maybe you're not as fit as the folks.
Yeah, well, those two being quite as athletic and physically active as they are, I kind of grew up around that as well. And, always watching them lifting or working out, I kind of just wanted to jump in myself. And now that I could do that whenever I want, it's kind of good. And having those two mentoring me since I was young in that field is just it's a huge advantage for me, and I feel like I've used that to my advantage in the weight room since I started in there.
How about the sport of lacrosse, taking that up and learning a little bit about that, and maybe getting away from your dad as a coach and getting a different perspective from a different coach in a different sport?
Well, lacrosse started when I was a little younger. Baseball just doesn't do it for me. Nothing against it, but it's just a little too slow for me. And lacrosse has gotten really big around this area, and I picked it up when I was younger. And it's just a great sport, and I love being around it. And being around a different coach, it's a good change because, like you said, it's a different point of view, being that it's not my father, but I just love playing lacrosse. And I love my team as well as the coaches.
Stone Mannello from the Dallas Mountaineers here on the John Mendola Show. Stone, you take away a lot of life lessons, as you said, through the ups and downs of athletics and also the challenges of the academics there at Dallas area. Talk about being a better person for it, and as you say, you're hoping for a real bright future and a lot of things I'm sure you've learned along the way.
Yeah, I have learned a lot of things through both academics and athleticism-wise. That being, sports doesn't come first. Education comes first. If you're not doing well in the classroom, you're not going to play on the field. And my parents have both supported me a lot through education, and, that always comes first. And if I'm slacking in there, there's absolutely no way, no matter who's my coach, that I'm not going to be playing any sports until my education comes up.
And one thing your dad emphasizes over time is he gives you that reality check at a young age, and he kind of gave it at the Charlie D. Wysocki football camp this year, saying, hey, listen, 90% of you guys are Division III athletes. So, he kind of gives you that reality early. Whereas maybe some parents and some kids may think, hey, I want to be in the NFL, I want to be in the NBA, I want to be in the major leagues. That's a far fetch for everyone. It's just the way the numbers surely are. Do you think that helped you at all to kind of look at things a little bit differently, saying, you know what, this is supposed to be just for fun?
Yeah, I mean, it does. Like you said, there's a slim margin of people that go D1 and even to the NFL, but he's not going to sugarcoat anything, and it's better to learn that early than to be in your senior year and you're not getting any looks from any D1 schools. It might make you work harder to try to go D1 or D2, but in reality, if it's going to happen, you don't really know. So one thing, like you said, that does help a lot, even though it is being brutally honest. It helps to know that early on.
How about a side of your dad that maybe nobody ever gets to see? You have any funny stories or anything you could share that is interesting about Coach Rich Mannello?
Well, Coach is actually quite the funny guy as soon as he walks out of the locker room, and he gets home at 9 o'clock during the week and walks the dogs. And then he's always football is involved with everything. There's no really getting away from it. But he's always kick sliding and pass blocking in the kitchen while he's making food and trying to block the dogs. And it's always a good time in the Mannello house.
I want to get some video on that. That'd be pretty good.
Oh, I'll get you that.
All right, Stone. Well, hey, great catching up with you. Wish you the best in your future endeavors in 2017 and beyond, okay?
Thank you.
Stone Mannello from the Dallas Mountaineers here on the John Mendola Show. We are driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.